scary skeletons speak with such a screech. You'll shake and shudder in surprise when you hear these zombies shriek. Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul and seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons.
Hello and welcome to my crazy world. It's me, Elle. How you doing? Look at that. And I've gone and done the green thing because my hair looks like a mess. So I thought, I'll fix it up by hopefully doing my face a little bit green and such. And if you're wondering what I'm wearing clothes. No. It's a mixture of L'Oreal. Where are you? I bought some makeup. So it's L'Oreal and this one, nice green, dark green. But I put a black base so it's even darker again. And a little bit of Pixie from the Glaminatrix eyeshadow. So anyway, I thought today we'd be a little bit more serious, if that's possible. Excuse me. And we talk about, by the way, if you ever think that I'm going to sit there and burp like a pig, it ain't happening, because you don't burp on screen. That's just, Anywho, back to what I was talking about, which is trying to be a little bit more, we're going to talk about something that's very close to me, and so close that I've got it, and it's called Fibromyalgia, or if you know that I've actually got a Facebook page and it's called What is Fibromyalgia? What in capital letters. So yeah, anyway, it's a joke and some people will understand and some people won't, and there you go. And today I've got my glasses because I'll be reading some stuff, and I've also got my handy dandy book, so that way if I forget what I'm talking about, which is very common for me, I'll go back into it. So yeah, let's get into it. Fibromyalgia. It's a big word and it's a pain everywhere, literally. What have I written down here? What is it and why do I have it? Because I'm lucky, I guess. No, I was diagnosed in 2006 as having fibromyalgia, and it was also formally recognised in 2008, but I've had it since 2006. So back then, mind you, they didn't know exactly what it was called. I went to work where I was working, and before I went to work, Mum, the wonderful person she was, made me my breakfast, and I had a cup of tea, and I was having my cup of tea. I did the old stretcheroony, and something in my back went twang, and it was the most weird pain that I've ever had, and it took my breath away. But I thought, I've always had back issues, so no big deal, I'd just get on with it. By the time I was at work and by lunchtime, I was in tears, couldn't move, so much so I had to get Mum to come and pick me up, and Mitch had to drive my car for me because there was no way in hell that I could do anything. So anyway, that is basically where I formally remember it happening. It was a Thursday, so there you go. Anyway, went to the doctors, and the doctors did a CT scan and realised that I had a bulging disc in my lower back and in my neck. So I've got 2 bulging discs, so they put it down to that, and long story short, had to sort of quit working for a little while. Then it progressively got worse, and from just my back it went into my legs, into my arms, and they put it down to nerves and pain transferring and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I thought, well, it's back injury, so how exciting me. I don't get to do the whole, life story of this traumatic thing. No, I have a cup of tea and twang goes my back. So exciting, I know. But anyway, further down the track, things just got a lot worse as it went along, and then they started doing a little bit more investigating as to why I was getting more than what I should be. And long story short, went to a rheumatologist because they thought that might be the issue. And this Mr. Jensen, Stephen Jensen, and oh my gosh, he is brilliant. I don't know if he's still operating, because he had rheumatoid arthritis himself, and yeah, it was good to talk to a man who knew that I wasn't just faking it, or it wasn't all in my head, which at one stage I even thought I was going slightly insane with my issues. So yeah, he did a test on me by all these points that he wanted to know. I basically jumped through a hoop. Not really, because I would have tripped over and killed myself and I wouldn't be here now. Anyway, so he did all these points, and he turned around and he said, I know exactly what's the matter with you. And I said, oh, mentally or? And he said, no, you've got fibromyalgia. And at that time it was like, fibro who? Myalgia what? And he turned around and he said, the easiest way to do it is go onto the Australian arthritic web page, and scroll down and you'll find a section all about fibromyalgia. So that's exactly what I did. I find out that there's no real cure for it, and some people are worse off than others. So quickly, put on my spiffy glasses, school mum again, and yeah, the symptoms most commonly are pain, usually stiffness and tenderness of the muscle tissues. Pain can become worse after rest, like in the morning, or after activity, which is a given. Then extreme fatigue, tiredness, making it difficult to do normal activities, and very much so. Now, it didn't all happen all at one time, but along the years now, I have got a lot of these things, and every day is a new adventure when it comes to my body and what's going to happen that day. So the other thing is poor sleep. At one stage I was more of a night owl than an owl was. Some nights I didn't even get an hour's sleep, let alone 5. It was ridiculous, and it was just pain. And yeah, then you've got problems with concentration and memory. They're not kidding. And irritable bowel or stomach pains, which in the past, well, mid part of this year, that's what I've started getting. At first I thought I was just, a little bit, how's your father, with some of the food I'd eaten or something. And no, it wasn't that at all. It was part of this. Now, as for your difficulties in memory, it's actually called fibro fog, and we'll get to it a little bit later on, but it's ridiculous. Some people would understand that you walk into a room and sometimes you forget what you went in there for, so you retrace your steps, and go back into the other room, and 9 out of 10 times it usually pops back into your head what you had actually gone in for. Not so much at all with me. I'll probably have to retrace steps to the night before. I sit there and I think, what was it that I wanted? And half the time it'll come back when I'm actually in need of it. So, and sure as eggs, I'll walk out the door and it's like, yep, that's what I needed. And mind you, I could sit and just think, what is it that I need? And it won't happen. So it does your head in, basically. You become a real nutter, and I've just come to the conclusion that this is my life and I do the best with it as I can, enjoy it, because if I sit there and start thinking about what's wrong, how much worse and everything else, I may as well sit down and just shoot me, because life would be just rubbish. But anyway, we'll go on to the next part, which is what causes it. It's not known exactly what causes it, but more common than not, it starts in people who have had or who have inflammation or arthritis, or an illness such as a virus, which I did not have, and I did not have arthritis of anything. Pain from injury or trauma. As I said, the only thing that trauma-wise happened to me was the twang in the back, and then progressively got worse as I went along. And then experienced emotional stress and or depression. Back in 2006 was when we found out that my mother wasn't well, and a lot of things in my life changed big time. And because at the time I had 3 young little persons, you just get down and do what you have to do with my major changes that I had. And with Mum, we just persevered and, tried to look after her as much as we could. She had fainting spells and such things, and we couldn't work out what it was. And later on, once again, long story short, found out that she had bowel cancer, but we didn't find that out until 2009. So yeah, so basically 2006, 7, 8 and 9 were major years in my life. Like I said, big changes, and things that I didn't realise were actually affecting me were, and I just put it down to all the things that changed in my life, just getting on with it and stop thinking about them. So and then I went through a divorce as well in amongst all of that, so that was a big deal as well. So like I said, looking after the kids, getting up and doing what I had to do, you sort of package it off into a corner and get on with it. But anyway, so now for many people it starts without any obvious cause. Funny. Research says that the body may become extra sensitive in the way it signals its process of pain. Now what they mean by that is normal person, whatever that is, goes, bumps their elbow, a couple of hours maybe, or a little while later, that's it, the end of story. Whereas in people who have fibromyalgia, if you hit your elbow, that's that, but you feel a lot of pain, it becomes excruciating, and then the following day, instead of having a pain in your elbow, you might have a pain in your knee. So it transfers. So basically your what is it called? the back and the little extensions from your spine. Oh, anyway, you know what I'm talking about, hopefully. Nerves. The nerves transfer to one place and the other, and it's sort of like the nerve transference has said, well, all right, the pain in the elbow's still there, but we'll just chuck the knee into it as well. And I don't know how the spinal column works and all the nerves, etc. I'm not a doctor. So that's what it does. So it might not be your knee, it might go to your shoulder on the other side. Not on the same side. So you think, oh, you know, associated pain. No, it goes onto completely the other side of your body for a start, and then it's just transferred pain. So, yeah. Now, how is it diagnosed? It's difficult to diagnose. Fibro has no x-rays or blood tests or scans that can diagnose it. So, as I said, with me, they gave me a CT scan and found out about my bulging discs in my back and neck, but they didn't know anything about the fibro until I went to see Steve Jensen. And yeah, it was from him doing the test, as I said, and checking out how much flexibility I had and movement. And the stupid thing is, I, to this day, am, without sounding weird, I am still very flexible, but I'm still sore in the joints or wherever at the time. So, yeah, flexibility, and that's what a lot of the doctors were checking out, my flexibility, and then saying, well, it's not because you can't move, because obviously you can, but, and I'm saying, well, all right, I can still move, but I'm still in pain, so please fix. And meanwhile, there's no, you know, big red cross saying, right, well, this is fibro, until I saw Steve Jensen. So anyway, tissues appear normal. I was sent to a rheumatoid arthritis person, which I've already told you, that made me do a questionnaire. The questionnaire was like a person's body, and you had to cross off all the areas on the body that you were in pain with. And now, if you do, there's 8 points, but if you double that up, no, it's 16, no, it's 9 points, sorry, so 18 in total, and out of the 18, I had 18 plus others, so yeah, was that. Now, I had most of the other things that come with fibro. Yay. Headaches, concentration, memory problems, which I've already told you about my fibro, well, it's called fibro fog, and it's also called you become an absolute imbecile. People think that you are on some form of drugs or you've been drinking, because half your conversation that you have is sitting there thinking about the most simple word. You know, I honestly, I've had times where I can't say what I'm, obviously before, when I was trying to think of the word nerves, and I know all the bits and pieces that I want to say, but it just doesn't come out. So, okay. So, period pains, urinary problems, numbness in feet, legs, arms, hands, irritable bowel, anxiety and depression, we'll talk about that in a minute, sleep problems, as I said, fibro fog, which I've already told you, and slow or confusing speech, which is another thing I've just said. And now, anxiety and depression. The anxiety is that you want to do things, but you feel in yourself that you can't do it. therefore, not long after that, Mr. Depression comes along and makes you feel oh so wonderful about yourself. You know you want to go out. You've been invited out to a day, and I got to the stage where I'd make every excuse under the sun not to have to go, because that meant that I had to get up out of bed, go and have a shower, get ready, look presentable, change my clothes, and I just couldn't be fussed. And I just would rather stay in bed and stick to my same four walls, because at least I knew that in my four walls nothing could come and bug me. If anything was to come and annoy me, I would just simply shut myself down, and it wasn't fun for a lot of people that were around me. In fact, the kids were the ones, once again, in my life that pulled me out of it and got me to the point of, you know, wake up to yourself, do something for yourself, don't let it get you down. I've been to psychologists, I've been to a psychiatrist, I am now on medication for my depression, and my anxiety leveled up big time this year. Not for any particular reason, but, you know, when you're sitting there and all of a sudden you start panicking because your kids are going out, and, you know, obviously you don't want your kids to get hurt, but then it got to the stage where I'd be speculating about what could happen if I went out. If I went for a drive, would I have an accident? If I had an accident, would I be dead? If I was dead, who's going to look after the kids? If that's all, just one great big rolling session of what if. So I recognised it finally. Like I said, over the years I've had my kids to snap me out of it. Mitch is brilliant, he understands a lot and snaps me out of it as well. I've got a beautiful friendship system that a lot of people are my friends and family that are there, that I can talk to, I can vent, I can rage, I can go and scream into a pillow if I so wish to. But I've got people I can talk to, and if you don't have that behind you, honestly, you're messed up. If you haven't got a good, what's the word for it? Here we go again. Anyway, if you don't have a good group of people for you, I feel sorry for you. Like I said, I'm so lucky that I've got my family, lots of friends, not a lot of friends, but very close friends. Hi Tracy, hi Heather, Catherine, and Kathy. And if I'm going to sit there and go through everyone, Karen is my immediate family. I don't have any other family apart from my kids. She's my cousin, and yep, I've got her. And anyway, whatever, we'll just go into it. So if ever you're depressed or worried about things, or life is getting tough for you, if you haven't got someone to speak to, go and seek help from your doctor. And that's another thing. My doctor is absolutely amazing. He sits there, he actually listens to me, and when I was in a place of doubt and self-doubt that, yeah, I've got these pains, but I don't know what it is, and I'm going crazy, and he was the one who sent me off to where I had to go and battled on with me as well. And I found out that vitamin B12 is also something that a lot of people were trying to see if that helped with the fibro. And so he gladly turned around and said, all right, where did you read about it? Told him, what have you seen? I did my research, of course, and did all of that, took the B12, injections every week, and honestly and truly, I think at first they worked, but I think that was me more wanting them to work than actually working, if that makes sense. So yeah, but like I said, without a good doctor and a good network, that's what I was trying to say, a network of friends, relatives, anyone, and it doesn't have to be close relatives or close friends. Sometimes you need to speak to someone who you don't know. As I said, I went to psychologists and psychiatrists, and they're fantastic with me as well. But anyway, as I was saying, if you can, and if you're able to and lucky enough to have a good network, and if you don't, there's a place called Beyond Blue. Give them a call, and Headspace, and there's several different places that if you can't get some sort of help from one, there are more out there. So, you know, do it. All right, now, someone with fibro may also experience clumsiness, dizzy spells, and feeling hot or cold, even though it might be the opposite. When you're feeling cold, it might be hot, and when you're feeling hot, it's probably because you're hot and it's cold. So that's one thing I found with the medication that I'm on. I know when it's starting to work because I become a puddle of sweat, perspiration, I glow, as some people say. Yeah, and I look like I've just walked out of a shower, which is really embarrassing sometimes, especially if I'm out walking and I go to Kmart, for example, and I need to, well, obviously I need to walk, but I have to walk to Kmart, and then I have to walk around Kmart to see what I need. Yeah, it's not fun. By the time you walk out of Kmart, you're a sopping mess. Well, I am. Or if you know, things like trying on clothes, it's not fun. So I've got to the stage now that if I'm not sure about something, A, I don't bother, or B, I get it, try it on at home. If it fits, bonus. If it doesn't fit, well, then I take it back to the shop and whatever. But yeah, it's not easy, and you can get restless leg, which I had for a long time. Then my psychiatrist changed my medication, and lo and behold, I didn't have restless legs anymore, which was really good because it got to the stage where in bed my legs would be flying everywhere, and I'm thinking, oh God, all I want to do is sleep, and I've got legs. Exciting, not. Clumsiness is, well, at one stage they thought that I had carpal tunnel. So I had the operation here. They did all the stuff that they had to do because I also had the numbness in my hands, and did the operation and everything. And I can tell you right this second, my hand is still numb to this point, and it's numb on the little finger, and half, mind you, of this finger. The other half is fine. I can feel that, not a problem. On this side, it just feels like I'm poking something, but it's thick. I know it doesn't make sense, but if you suffer with numbness, you will understand. Clumsiness. A couple of months ago, I had a session of falling over nothing and everything. Went to put a nail in the wall, or put another nail in the wall, and as I'm doing that, I was like this, hands up, trying to put a nail in the wall, and slowly but surely I felt myself going whee, and I fell over. I fell over getting into the car, fell out of the car, several different things, and you get to the stage where you think, oh my God, just shoot me, put me out of my misery and everybody else's misery. Not that they have, that's the other part of depression. you feel like you're useless, you feel like you're a burden on everyone that's around you, which is not the case. Believe it or not, the people that are around you care a very big amount, and unless you tell them what's going on, they're not mind readers. I've got to learn that rather quickly. So yeah, and other celebrities that have fibro. Other celebrities? Well, I suppose I am a celebrity. No. Celebrities that have fibro, well, one of the very, very well-known ones is Lady Gaga. She suffers with it, but obviously because she's in the limelight, or, you know, well-known, whatever you want to call it, she doesn't have to get up every morning and go to work like most people who have fibro do, and other people that have fibro and don't. She's got people there for a beck and call, so she doesn't have a hard time, but she has a hard time, if that makes sense, because you're still in the headspace. Other person, which I actually didn't know, and that's Morgan Freeman. He's got it. And, you know, when you think you can't function, and your memory, or lapse of memory, or lack of memory, well, you think, wow, the man's got to learn his lines for his movies, and, you know, once again, he doesn't have to get up early in the morning and go to work, but then he probably does. So, anyway. And the other one is Sinead O'Connor, which is the woman that sings that beautiful song that makes you want to kill yourself. Nothing compares to you. Yeah. And hard to believe that that was actually written by Prince. Just for a little bit of trivia. Thought you might like to know that. If you don't, well, you do now. So yeah, that's a little bit of what I live with. I do have other issues. A couple of years ago, I decided to go and do a lot of vacuuming because we were shifting out of one house and I had to clean up the house. And I decided to roll my foot on an extension lead. So if anyone tells you that hard or housework doesn't kill you, bullshit. It gives you a hard time, believe me. Anyway, this is the cable. This is my foot. I rolled forward, I rolled back, and I rolled forward again, but with extra force, and snapped my Achilles tendon. And so, yeah, I've got the right leg doesn't work properly, and now because I don't walk properly, my left one's starting to, you know, do its little merry thing, and I finally relented to using a walking stick. But I've got a black one and it's nice and sparkly, and one day soon I'm going to get bats all over it and skulls. And so, because my vanity stopped me from using a walking stick, I'm still learning how to use a walking stick, mind you, because I don't know how to use one. I think I'm using it right, but I've also got visions of me tripping over and making an absolute dill of myself, which is nothing new, I know, but I don't need to make myself look stupid. I can do it all by myself. I don't need any extra help whatsoever. So anyway, yeah, so there are a few things that I live with. Life is not perfect, never will be. I'm not a multi-millionaire. I'm not even a thousandaire or a hundredaire. I'm a happy person. I've got 3 wonderful kids, a fantastic partner, fantastic friends and family. And if you've got that in your life and a roof over your head that you can pay your rent with, you're doing bloody well. And if you know, got issues, seek medical attention. And I can't stress this enough. Have a fantastic network, and if you don't, look for one, because nobody understands unless you tell them. You think they do, but they don't. And sometimes they never will. There you go. All right, well, on that, I'm going to wish you all a happy weekend. Sorry that this is quite lengthy, but I just thought I'd put it out there and let people know what fibromyalgia is all about, and how some days it can be an okay day, some days it can be an atrocious day, some days I feel like I'm 100, sometimes I feel like I'm 18. And both sides of the scale, watch out, because I'm a nutcase. And I love it. So anyway, have a fantastic weekend. Look after yourselves. Treat others as you would like to be treated. And stay safe on the roads. Take care. Bye. See ya.